My name is Alejandro and I'm 8 years old, and this is a story about my eye. When I was 2 years old, my sister and I were having fun playing in the house. We were chasing each other and laughing. While we were chasing each other, I grabbed one of her perfume bottles and accidentally I dropped it.
He broke a perfume bottle and a piece of glass went in his eye and he lacerated the cornea.
So Rory was then diagnosed at about 4 weeks and started with bilateral retinoblastoma and started chemotherapy at 5 weeks.
Taking care of children who are at risk of going blind is probably one of the most important responsibilities we have as ophthalmologists. And within that group of patients, those children, the highest risk and the most devastating form of childhood blindness is actually a tumor, a cancer called retinoblastoma. And in that setting, the parents are incredibly scared. And the stakes are incredibly high because we're not just talking about a child who could potentially go blind in both eyes. Frankly, we're also talking about a child who's at risk of dying.
The first thing we noticed with Audrey was the crossing of her eye. And I really didn't pay too much mind to it because I didn't think it was anything to be worried about. So, we took her to her primary doctor and they referred her to a specialist, and then they referred us here where we learned that Audrey was diagnosed with retinoblastoma.
After the accident, Mommy and Daddy took me to a doctor who takes care of children's eyes. The doctor examined my eye and told my mommy and daddy I needed to have a surgery, a corneal transplant.
The hardest part about being a doctor is when you have to tell a parent something devastating, like their child may be blind or their child might actually lose their vision. There is no easy way to deliver that news.
This is the hard part. It's not that you're making a decision for yourself. It's this baby that you've got to make the right decision for.
Many of these parents, they're coming with very young children, sometimes under a year of age. And they, up until that point, have had the perfect child. And once you give them a devastating diagnosis, it's as if it's the death of that perfect child.
So when we get a call from the doctors regarding a family that they're referring to the Institute, we will then call that family, connect with that family, and we work together with the doctors in trying to figure out what is it at the moment that they think the family might need. We work with families from time of diagnosis, helping families navigate their medical experiences, the different doctor's appointments. If their child is having surgery, we help to prepare the family and the child for whatever that surgery may be.
It can be incredibly disorienting for a family. Oftentimes I'll be telling them what the diagnosis is, and I can tell right away that they're not listening to me. And instead they're worried about how is their kid going to graduate from college or get a driver's license, or will their child make it with sight at the end of all this?
Yeah, because the parents are numb for most of the process. The doctor's talking to us, but we're not hearing a word of it.
You're just numb, like you just don't even know. I was just sitting there, I had no emotion, I didn't cry. I was just in shock, I think.
It does us very little good to medically take care of a child and then leave the parents off to fend for themselves. And the only thing more cruel than to give a child a devastating diagnosis is to deny that child a strong family structure to help protect the child through this whole process.
Sometimes the stress of the diagnosis and treatment will cause relationship problems, and this is a time when the parents really need to remain partners and need to remain a team. We support the parents as much as the children, if not more.
It's not a child with retinoblastoma, it's a family with retinoblastoma. It affects the siblings, it affects the uncles and aunts, it affects the grandparents. But the goals are still the same, to deal with the health of the family and not just the health of the child, because you can treat the child and make the child healthy, and the family is broken, and that doesn't help in the long run.
Next Thursday, June 4th, 2015, I will have one more surgery. Then I will get a prosthetic eye when my eye heals.
Audrey just started kindergarten and she's just happy. She has all these little friends. She loves going to school. I look at her and I just feel like she could see through both eyes. I can't even see that she's wearing a prosthetic.
Right now, Alejandro is like the most social, smart boy, and he's so happy with himself, you know, and I can only thank you for your help and for everything that you've done.
I kind of see myself as a successful person, and and like maybe growing up to help other people like me and like other kids.
What the Institute has been able to do, and I've witnessed this so many times, it's been able to take the parent when they're in that incredibly fragile state, very vulnerable state, after having just been given a diagnosis that their child may never see again. And it wraps that parent around with love and an environment that the parent knows is safe. It stabilizes the parent and then guides that parent to their deep well of courage.
We are great partners, in the same mission. We want to enhance the care of the children who are diagnosed with retinoblastoma, and we provide the medical care. And the Institute provides emotional support, which is just as important.
He kept telling me, I don't want a new eye, I don't want a new eye. And that was hard for me to try. How do I console my son when I'm not ready to console him? Because I was with him. I'm like, I don't want you to get a new eye, but yet I had to be strong and be like, this is it. We've reached the point. I reached out to you to help me, first help me, because I remember calling you and asking you, I need you to help me. I know it's good for him, but I need you to help me understand why he needs it. With talks with you, helping me, I was able then to bring him in, to be able to give him that security that it was gonna be okay.
I mean, having someone to call who knew what you were talking about, who understood the disease, a translator for the doctor, but a hand holder too, So it was just a huge comfort.
The Institute, it means like everything to me. If I didn't have it, I think I would just be, I don't know. I would just be like in a corner at home or something if I didn't have them to talk to. They helped me out so much to get through this hard time with my daughter. They mean so much to me. I think they made me stronger as the time went on. And my daughter also. Because with them, my daughter was able to see what was going on with her and what was going to happen to her before the prosthetic and after the prosthetic.
The Institute is literally a guide, a pathfinder to their well of courage. And once the parents get there, they're great. And they become that superhero that their child needs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The sooner we can get that parent to the point where they are resilient, they've found their deep well of courage, the sooner that happens, the more likely it is that that family will stay intact. It's almost like you watch a miracle on a regular basis, the way these children and the families find their inner selves, in part through the guidance of the Institute for Families.
In writing that book, it encouraged him to keep writing, adding more things as things were happening to him. And he was, towards the end, it made him excited knowing that he was going to be getting a new eye. And he had pages to finish, So that book helped him through his process, helped me realize what he was going through and what his fears were. But at the same time, it got him excited to a point to, okay, I'm ready to get my new eye, and I'm ready to finish my book.
Now I have my eye, everything is okay, so my life is better. And then now this is me.